Let me just ask you, how did you make the deal to get Chris Christie to endorse you?
Well, it was just somebody that I really wanted. I must tell you, I was going to leave a little time go by before I called him. I did not call him. He called me. He saw what was happening. He said, Donald, you have a movement going. Like, Chuck, this afternoon, I think we have 25,000 people in Alabama. We ended up moving to a football stadium because you couldn't hold. I mean, what we have going is incredible. Yesterday in Arkansas, we had 15,000. We had 15,000 people in a hangar in Tennessee. Right. It's amazing what's going on. And he said, there's a movement going on, and I'd like to be part of it. And I was very happy. I was getting ready to call him, and he called me. And having Chris is a great honor.
Well, I tell you, he seems like a changed man when it comes to you. There was a time he wasn't such a believer. Let me play a few quotes.
He's been a very successful businessman. He has lots of talents. He has absolutely no ability in this area.
So be very careful about candidates who stand up and say, ban all Muslims from coming to the country. Ridiculous.
It'll be a beautiful, wonderful wall. It'll be an incredible wall. The wall will be unbelievable. We're not picking an entertainer-in-chief. We're not casting a TV show.
I don't think it would be in the best interest of our party to have someone who I don't think would be an effective president to be the nominee.
Mr. Trump, as I can attest to, if anybody had said that, you would have unloaded on them on Twitter and sort of pulverized them. What made you accept Christie's change of heart?
Well, you know, I heard those comments, and they were made in a rather low-key manner, and they were made in smaller locations, and they never got out very much, so I never really had to go wild. But I did hear a little bit about him. But that's called welcome to the wonderful world of politics, I think. You know, he's been a friend of mine. He's been a really good guy and a good friend of mine for a long time. And, you know, just having his endorsement's amazing. We did 4 stops between the last 2 days. And he's introduced me, and the place loves him. The people love him. He's tough. He's smart. And we just get along very well. So, you know, but that's called politics, in all fairness, Chuck. I think you've heard about it before, right?
Fair enough. He certainly has been quite the opening act for you the last 2 days. Look, there's been a couple other things came up at the debate. A couple other attack TV ads are there. I want to play a clip of one on immigration that's going after you and get you to respond on the other side.
A federal court ruled that Trump's company hired illegal immigrants to help the construction process for Trump Tower. He even paid a $1 million fine. And his new hotel in Washington?
The Washington Post interviewed about 15 laborers at the D.C. hotel site, reporting that many revealed they had entered the U.S. illegally.
Basically, the charge is this, Mr. Trump. You don't practice what you preach on immigration.
Yeah. Well, it's wrong. First of all, the one charge is from 35 years ago. I think that's a pretty good record when people have to go 35 years back to find out about workers. Now, as I remember it, those workers were hired by another company. I just hired a company, and they had some workers that were perhaps from Poland or someplace. And this was the demolition of a building that made way for Trump Tower. So the workers, Chuck, this is 35 years ago you're talking about. By the way, the laws were totally different. The laws were not what they are now, totally different. As far as one of the great hotels in the world that's currently being built on Pennsylvania Avenue between the Capitol building and the White House, there were no illegals. We do checks like you wouldn't believe. And they didn't name any names. They didn't give any information. We are very, very careful. We have an excellent contractor, one of the best in the country, works with me because we build them. I negotiate everything. And that's why that job, by the way, is 2 years ahead of schedule and under budget. And it's going to be one of the great hotels of the world. So it's, you know, I'm doing a good job. They know what they did when they got me, and that's what happened.
Do you believe in
they don't have any proof of any illegals.
Do you believe in E-Verify?
They said they found a few.
Do you use E-Verify in everything you do when it comes to finding out the immigration status?
I have E-Verify. Yes, I do. And I use E-Verify in that building. And the Washington Post mentioned that they spoke to people. There's no names. I read the story. It was from a few months ago.
Right.
There are no names whatsoever. They have no proof. They have no evidence, no nothing. They saw people, and they were people coming out of the building. And they were absolutely, we go with E-Verify. I am extremely strong on it. Every time I have a contractor meeting in that building, and we're doing fantastically well. You know, we're going to open that building in September, which will be very exciting, just before the election. Perfect. I mean, you know.
The timing.
But I will tell you this. The timing is good, but I am very, very tough on that. And they have absolutely no evidence whatsoever. It's a typical Washington Post story.
All right. You were, obviously, Trump University came up. Let me ask you this. If Trump University was such a successful business, and the Trump I know you had to change the name because it wasn't a university. Why isn't it still
only in New York?
Why isn't
outside of New York?
Why isn't it still a robust business?
Well, because we would open it again. What happened is, first of all, you have to understand, we had about 98% of the people that took the courses approved the courses. They thought it was great. They signed report cards, and they said it was great. Those people are suing now to get their money back because the law firm said, hey, listen, if I could get your money back, what would you say? You would say, oh, great, get my money back. That's great. But they signed these documents saying they rated the course, 98% approval rating at high marks. Number two, we have an A from the Better Business Bureau. And here's the only thing, Chuck. I could settle the case, but I don't want to settle the case. The reason is I don't want to be held up. And once you settle cases, everybody sues you. I don't want to be held up. So I take the case. The one with the Attorney General, that was taken from these people. They made a campaign contribution to the Attorney General of New York. He met with President Obama in Syracuse, New York, and the following day or a day later, he filed a case against me. And that case has been largely won, although they're appealing, but that case has been largely won by me. So it's very easy for me to settle these things, Chuck. I just don't choose to do it. It's not a big deal. It's a civil case. It's not a big deal. But we have, just so you understand, we have a 98% approval rating, and we have an A from the Better Business Bureau.
I guess the question is, did anybody succeed? Did anybody make millions of dollars in real estate using your way? Can you produce folks that have made millions using your way?
People did succeed, and we have those people will be witnesses at the trial. And the man that's doing that, I believe he signed a document saying that he thought Trump University was terrific in some form, and that it was terrific. So we'll have to find out. I haven't seen this commercial, but the man that did that commercial, I think if you tell me his name, or we'll find it. But most of the people signed documents saying it was great. So it'll be interesting. He made the statement. Let's see what he said about the school, because I think he signed a document saying that the school was very good. But we'll find out. I have to do it very quickly.
You said something else about the judge yesterday. You said one of the judges, you said, quote, I believe he happens to be Spanish, which is fine. He's Hispanic, which is fine. We haven't asked for a recusal, which we may do. Why would you need to ask for a recusal? And what does his ethnicity have to do with it?
Because I think he's been very, very unfair with us. I think the judge has been extremely unfair. This is a case that many, many, many people said should have been thrown out on summary judgment. We have 98% approval.
And you think it's because he's Hispanic?
We have an A from the Better Business Bureau. This is a case that should have been, well, because of the wall and because of everything that's going on with Mexico and all of that, I think it's frankly this. Look, this is a judge who I believe has treated me very, very unfairly. This is a case that should have been thrown out a long time ago, in the opinion of many great lawyers.
And as you know, right now on Twitter, there is a trending retweet of yours. You retweeted somebody from Il Duce 2016. It was a Mussolini quote, but you didn't know it was Mussolini when you retweeted it. It said, it is better to live one day as a lion than 100 years as a sheep. That's a famous Mussolini quote. You retweeted it. Do you like the quote? Did you know it was Mussolini?
It's okay to know it's Mussolini. Look, Mussolini was Mussolini. It's okay to. It's a very good quote. It's a very interesting quote, and I know it. I saw it. I saw what. And I know who said it. But what difference does it make whether it's Mussolini or somebody else? It's certainly a very interesting quote.
Well,
that's probably why I have
is a
between
known
Facebook
fascist.
and Twitter 14 million people,
do you
and
want
other
to be
people don't.
You want to be
it's a very interesting quote, and people can talk about it.
You want to be associated with a fascist?
No, I want to be associated with interesting quotes. And people, I have almost 14 million people between Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and all of that. Right. And we do interesting things. And I sent it out. And certainly, hey, it got your attention, didn't it?
Well, and it is trending on Twitter right now.